Luke 1:26-38 recounts the moment when the angel Gabriel visits Mary to announce that she will conceive and give birth to Jesus. This passage is known as the Annunciation. It is a pivotal moment in the story of salvation. Here's an explanation of the passage. Luke 1:26-38, the Annunciation. The story begins in the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy. The angel Gabriel is sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth. Gabriel's mission is to visit a young woman named Mary, who is pledged to be married to Joseph, a descendant of David. This detail is important because it emphasizes Jesus' royal lineage. It fulfills Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah. Gabriel greets Mary with a message, calling her highly favored and telling her that the Lord is with you. This is significant because Mary is about to be chosen for an extraordinary task, becoming the mother of the Messiah. The phrase highly favored means that God has chosen her for a special, grace-filled purpose. Mary is troubled by the angel's words and wonders what kind of greeting this might be. Her confusion shows her humility. She is not expecting such an honor and is unsure of what it all means. Gabriel reassures her, telling her not to be afraid because she has found favor with God. The angel reveals God's plan. Mary will conceive and give birth to a son, and she is to name him Jesus. Gabriel describes the child as great and says that he will be called the Son of the Most High. This reveals that Jesus is not just an ordinary child, but the promised Messiah, whose reign will be eternal. The reference to David's throne is a direct link to the prophecy that the Messiah would come from David's lineage. 2 Samuel 7:12-16. Mary, still unsure of how this can happen since she is a virgin, asks the angel, "How will this be?" This shows that Mary is not questioning God's power. She is rather trying to understand how this miracle will come to pass. Gabriel explains that the Holy Spirit will come upon her and the power of the Most High will overshadow her. This is the divine means by which Mary will conceive. The term overshadow suggests the special presence of God, similar to how God's glory filled the temple in the Old Testament. The Holy Spirit's role in the conception of Jesus emphasizes that he is both fully divine and fully human. Gabriel gives Mary a sign to encourage her faith. Her relative Elizabeth, who was considered barren and too old to have children, is 6 months pregnant. Gabriel adds, "For nothing will be impossible with God." This reassures Mary that God's power is greater than any obstacle or human limitation, just as it was with Elizabeth's pregnancy. Mary responds with faith and submission, saying, "I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled." This is a powerful expression of Mary's obedience and trust in God's plan. Despite the potential challenges she may face, she humbly accepts God's will. Key themes and takeaways. 1. God's favor and grace. Mary is chosen by God not because of any inherent greatness, but because of God's grace. She is highly favored because God has a unique role for her in his redemptive plan. 2. The miraculous conception. The announcement that Mary will conceive by the Holy Spirit emphasizes the miraculous nature of Jesus' birth. It underscores the truth that Jesus is both fully God and fully man. The incarnation, God becoming flesh, is a central mystery of the Christian faith. 3. Mary's faith and obedience. Despite her initial confusion and questions, Mary responds with profound faith and obedience. Her willingness to accept God's will, even though she didn't fully understand how it would unfold, is a model for all believers. Chapter 4. God's power and possibilities. Gabriel's statement that nothing will be impossible with God highlights God's limitless power. What seems impossible in human terms is within God's capability. This reassurance reminds us that we can trust God's promises even when circumstances appear insurmountable. 5. The role of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit's involvement in the conception of Jesus emphasized the vital role of the Spirit in God's work of salvation. The Spirit is the agent of divine action and power. Conclusion. Luke 1:26-38 is a foundational passage that teaches about God's plan of salvation through the miraculous birth of Jesus. It emphasizes God's grace, the fulfillment of his promises, and the importance of faith and obedience in responding to his calling. Mary's willingness to trust and submit to God's will serves as an example for all Christians.